All right, 3 o'clock. What's up? NBA quadruple header tonight starts on NBA TV right now. Bucks at the Pacers. Indiana favored by 3.5. The Pacers will advance with the win at 4:30 on TNT. The Pistons are at the Knicks. New York favored by 4.5. The Knicks lead the series 3-1, and they'll advance with the win at 5:30 on NBA TV. Magic at the Celtics. Boston, a whopping 11.5-point favorite. They lead that series 3-1. The game of the night, pivotal Game 5 in Denver. Clippers and Nuggets. 7 o'clock TNT. The Clippers favored by 1.5 with that series all tied at 2. Elsewhere, the Kings are close to a deal to make Doug Christie their new head coach. From the NFL, J.J. McCarthy says he knows he's ready to start at quarterback for the Vikings, and the 49ers have signed tight end George Kittle on a 4-year extension worth $76 million. The Rip City Drive with Chad Doing is coming at you right now. Sarah Barham of Clackamas and soon-to-be Oregon Duck is going to join me in studio at 3:20.
For Damian Lillard specifically, this is going to be a tough hill climb for him, but he's going to get through it. But for the Bucks as an organization, this is really crippling because Damian Lillard is set to make almost $60 million next season. And that salary slot, with him suffering this Achilles tear in April 28th, having a player at $60 million, it really cripples your ability to add to this roster. So with him potentially gone for a full calendar year, what do you do?
It's time for the Rip City Drive, brought to you by Goldberg Jones. Divorce for Men, 1-800-DIVORCE. Featuring the crazy and often irrational longtime Portland radio vet, Chad Doing.
We are down to 8, 7, 6 to go. The Cavaliers have come to Miami and destroyed the Heat, 138-83. Get out the dustpans, folks. The clean sweep has taken place.
They have lead up the far sideline. Takes the heave at the buzzer. It's no good. It's no good. The Warriors hang on. Final score, Golden State 109. Houston 106. And the Warriors have taken a commanding 3-1 lead.
Strap in. The Rip City Drive with Chad Doing starts now.
Benny Martinez, you got to love that to start the show. What's going on, my friends? Rip City Drive. I'm looking forward to the show today. Coming up in 20 minutes, she's in the building right now, and she's going to join me in studio at 3:20. Sarah Barham from Clackamas High School and soon-to-be Oregon Duck. And she's the all-time three-point shooting leader in the state of Oregon, and she's coming off the state championship final that Clackamas lost, but she did get a championship in her 4 years at Clackamas. She's going to join us, and we'll talk about, her process, her entire pathway, which has led to college basketball in the Oregon Ducks. So Sarah Barham is coming up in 20 minutes. Colin Amos is going to stop by from the law offices of Goldberg and Jones to talk about his awesome golf trip. I'm very jealous, but also to answer your questions. And then at 5:20, Casey Bay, who is getting ready for the Beefwater One-Man March for Autism coming up tomorrow. He's going to be live at the Shake Shack at Bridgeport Village as he continues to raise money and awareness for the Autism Society. And you got to give major props to Shake Shack at Bridgeport Village for their work today. They wanted to jump on board and be a part of it. And so right now, all the way up until closing, you can stop by the Shake Shack at Bridgeport Village and you purchase and just say Donation Day at the counter or use Donate at the kiosk or with the app, and 25% of your total order is going to go to the Beefwater One-Man March for Autism, which is awesome. So big props to Shake Shack. We'll talk with Casey Bay coming up at 5:20. Now, it's like Rip City Liquidators today. We have a bunch of different things to give away, and it's good. First off, we have Hops Ticket Tuesday. We'll do that at 5, a 4-pack of tickets for the Hops coming up in a bit in May. Against Eugene. So we'll do that at 5 o'clock. And then we have tickets for A big show down at Spirit Mountain Casino coming up on Saturday. A very big show. Dana Carvey is going to be live at Spirit Mountain Casino, one of the all-time greats, and we're going to give away multiple pairs today, including two pair coming up here in about 8 minutes. So listen to me for your chance today to get a 4-pack of tickets for the Hops to sit in the Rip City Radio Row, and also your opportunity to see Dana Carvey in person at Spirit Mountain Casino. If you want to reach out to me, 503-248-0620, 503-248-0620, or you're going to find me on social at Chad and Rip City. Now, I've mentioned multiple times that the NBA playoffs this year, the first round thus far, has reinvigorated me when it comes to NBA basketball. I was down on NBA for, a couple of years, just wasn't into it like I was other sports, and the NBA was kind of my first love when I was younger. So it's been great to watch the action, and I love some of these matchups, including what we got last night with Houston and Golden State. What did we say at the beginning of the series? These two teams are intense. These two teams are one of the best defensively in the NBA, and they don't really like each other. And you've got Draymond Green, and you've got Dylan Brooks. What that means is a lot of highly contested games, very intense battles, and a lot of nonsense. And that's what we got last night with the Warriors escaping with a 3-point win and now have a 3-1 series lead going back to Houston. The Rockets blew an opportunity in Game 3 with Jimmy Butler out of the lineup, and last night they had the lead late, but the Warriors able to do just enough to get over the hump. I thought Brandon Pajinski played huge for the Warriors in this game, shot it well, made some big-time plays. Draymond Green was everything you know about Draymond Green in one single game, and Jimmy Butler coming off the one-game injury was tremendous. And the Warriors got the job done. They did it. Now, the weird part about the game. Draymond Green was in there on the very last play defending Alperen Şengün, and he probably shouldn't even have been able to play. He probably should have been booted from the game earlier. He had a lot of issues with the fouls, 5 fouls in the game. He also had a technical and a flagrant. So Draymond was getting work in last night, big-time work. Probably should have been ejected. But yet at the same time, he was also the guy who was spearheading the Warriors' defense. And this is what I love about Draymond Green, the good side of Draymond Green. The basketball IQ is off the charts. He's a tremendous passer and has a great understanding of the Warriors' offense and how it works with the movement, especially with Steph Curry. And defensively, what he's been able to do for this group and the dynasty that they put together over the years is second to none. Because after Steph Curry, he is the most important player to their team, to their identity, and especially what they do on defense. And he's playing that role that he does so well, which is kind of a free safety. He stays back, he directs traffic, he understands the rotations, and he brings the intensity, the fight, and he's able to get guys on the opposing team off their game because he drives them crazy. And in pure Draymond fashion last night, he was pushing the limits. Right up on the edge, didn't get booted from the game, was able to remain in the game, and he was on the floor in the final seconds as Şengün missed that shot. And he wanted that moment. He wanted the moment. He knew he was going to get Şengün, and he knew what he was going to do, and he was prepared for it. He's one of the few guys in the NBA who can impact the game so well without really scoring. He hit his first 2 shots of the game, hit a couple of threes, and then disappeared offensively. But it doesn't matter because the defense, the assists, the rebounds, all of the things he does that don't go down on the stat sheet, I mean, his impact was real last night. But at the same time, he's crazy. And he's always doing things to put himself right on the edge of getting in trouble and getting booted from the game. And we saw this happen before when he got ejected from a game in the finals for kicking LeBron in the nuts. And it cost him and his team a 73-win team from winning the championship because it allowed the Cavs to come back in that series back in 2016. But after the game, Draymond was asked about his mindset getting back in the game with 5 fouls, and how do you play?
Just not pick up a cheap one, but I'm never going to be one of the guys that just because you got fouls, you don't defend. I feel very confident in my defensive ability to defend without fouling. And so I'm going to contest at the rim. But in that situation, you just got to make sure your fundamentals are clean. And so that's what I try to do. If I'm going to go vertical with a man at the rim, or if I want to guard Şengün at the post. I just try to make sure that my fundamentals are there, But yeah, I can't be a guy for this team just because I got fouls. I lay off. Like, I'm our defensive anchor. You got to be that. And if I foul out, I just foul out. I'm better served. I can better serve this team just playing. And if I foul out, I'm gone, then staying out there and just giving up baskets.
All right, that's a guy that plays with a lot of confidence. The interesting part to me is that as his athletic ability has started to decline with age, I wondered how he would respond to that. And we're seeing it now with his smarts, his understanding of where he needs to be on the floor, and his positioning, which allows him to continue to be impactful. Now, he was also asked about the last shot, his defense on Şengün, and then he was asked about the technical foul.
He likes the ISO right in the middle of the paint. So he started coming downhill. I gave a little ground. And Stack always tells us it's a time that you have to get serious. He says it's time to get, and you just try to pick that point, I want to pick it too early where, he's facing me, and now I'll pick up a cheap one, so just try to find that sweet spot and where to get serious, as Stack says, and I thought I found a good spot. He took a deep jump hook.
You said sometime, I think it was a couple days ago after last game, about your technicals and how you sometimes strategically use them.
Yeah, I got a technical tonight, and there was guys way more aggressive than me. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Well, what happened overall in that second? And I think it was the second quarter, and from the technical, and then
they were trying to muddy the game up, but it's fine. We kept it pushing.
All right, there's Draymond Green. And you could tell that Şengün, when Green was on the floor, not nearly as comfortable. When he was off the floor, Şengün was dominant. And Şengün got up a pretty good shot. And had that little jump hook gone in, it's a different conversation today. But it didn't, and the Warriors move on. And Draymond's one of those classic examples of a guy where if he plays for your team, you love him. If he doesn't play for your team, you can't stand him. Like a Bill Romanowski type. He's a winning player that knows how to make game-winning plays, but he pushes the limits of good taste. He's a little bit dirty. He gets under guys' skins. He's an instigator. He's all of those things. And yet at the same time, he's a Hall of Fame basketball player. He does so many things really well. But that was a missed opportunity for the Rockets, and now they're up against it. Now, Steph Curry did not have a big night. And the one thing that I keep thinking about with the Warriors, if they advance, and then all of a sudden you're in a series with the Minnesota Timberwolves, are the big minutes for Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph going to catch up with them real quick? Meaning they're not going to have the energy they need in another physical bloodbath of a series with Minnesota on the horizon. That's quite possible. Because it's clear, whether you're the Lakers or you're Steve Kerr and the Warriors, there's a lot of guys on the roster they don't trust. So they're going to continue to ride their horses. I don't have a problem with that. But if you don't have the depth, you have to worry about guys in their late 30s starting to wear down. But that's why it was nice last night, because they got good help from some of the other guys, including Brandon Pajinski, who scored and scored well. All right, we'll keep things rolling. I've got more thoughts on the NBA playoffs. Really excited about that Game 5 Denver and the LA Clippers tonight in the Mile High City. But up next, we're going to be joined by Sarah Barhoom in studio, soon to be Oregon Duck. If you would like to see Dana Carvey in person this weekend at Spirit Mountain Casino, we'll take the first two callers. Fire away right now, 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. First two callers through get a pair of tickets for Dana Carvey at Spirit Mountain Casino this weekend. All right, Rip City Drive. Our next guest played her high school ball at Clackamas and now is set to play college ball for the Oregon Ducks. She is the all-time and single-season three-point record holder in Oregon. It's my pleasure to welcome Sarah Barhum to the Rip City Drive. Sarah, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations on the three-point record. I think that's pretty cool, but also congratulations on finding a school, getting your commitment to Oregon, and that's got to be an exciting time for you.
Yes, it's super exciting. Thank you.
That's great. Are you nervous about the next step or excited, or how would you explain that?
Yeah, so I'm super excited to go. I mean, everything about Eugene and the culture down there is just perfect for me, and I'm just really excited to be a part of that.
You know, the three-point shot has taken over the game of basketball over the last decade. I'm just curious, were you aware of the numbers going into the season, or was it something that was brought to your attention later in the season and then you thought, hey, that's within reach, that's something I can approach?
It was definitely always a goal for me just to be the Clackamas three-point leader at least, and it wasn't really something I knew of. My dad told me kind of like 3 weeks before playoffs, and I was just like, oh, that's super cool. Like, I didn't even know I could get close to it, but by the end of the season, I was right there. So.
What I like about your approach, too, is that you weren't out there seeking it for individual success or honor, but the way you play, it worked within your attack and your offense. So it was something you could have for yourself to approach and attack, but at the same time, your team benefits with your three-point shooting.
Yes, for sure.
That's great. Sarah Barhum is in studio. All right. From my understanding, you picked up a basketball for the first time at the age of 4. It's a shared love within the family. So where did that come from?
Yeah, so my dad has always kind of installed that hard work on me and my brother, and I feel like we just started playing sports at a super young age. I played volleyball and soccer, always just super active, and I just kind of love basketball a lot more than the other two, and my dad just pushed me, like, whatever you want to do, just be great at it, and I told him at a young age I want to be great at basketball, so that's what I pursued from a young age.
It wasn't someone presenting the game to you. You just played different sports, but basketball was the one that you gravitated towards.
Yes, basketball is definitely my love since I was a little kid.
And basketball is nice, at least when I was growing up. The cool thing is, unlike baseball, all you need is a ball and a hoop, and you're set. You can practice in the driveway. You can go to the park and play one-on-one with a friend. Like, it's very easy to get into basketball during the summertime at school, whatever the case may be.
Yes, definitely. It was super easy just getting shots up every day outside or in the gym. Like, it was just always available for me.
How'd you enjoy volleyball?
I wasn't the best at it, but, my mom played when she was younger, so I just gave it a try just for her.
All right, Sarah, your family mantra is win the day. Where did that come from, and what exactly does win the day mean for you and your family?
Yeah, so win the day just kind of means to me is just win every rep, win every workout, go hard in everything you do, just kind of the quality of time. Just make sure every single thing you're doing is, like, you're just giving your all for everything.
That's great. Now, I know your dad has been a big part of your journey, coaching you, motivating you, encouraging you, and as you mentioned, just wanting you to be the best version of yourself. What was the age? Do you remember the conversation you had with them when you were like, okay, I want to take this basketball thing seriously? Because you just mentioned that you gravitated towards basketball, but what was the conversation like with your dad when you made the decision you wanted to really pursue basketball, and what did he tell you?
Yeah, so my dad's always just been there for me. I mean, our connection is super special. He's my best friend. Kind of everything to me, and when we were younger, I wanted to work hard, and I think we just kind of sat down maybe in the middle school and just talked about it, like, this is the dream, this is where I want to get to, I want to play college basketball, take it as far as I want, and my dad was just like, you really have to pursue it, like, you have to work hard every single day, you can't take reps off, days off, nothing like that, and I feel like that was just kind of my realization. Like, I just have to put my all into it if I want to play at the next level.
And when did you notice that maybe your skill set was better than the majority of people you played against, meaning that you had a chance to go on and play college basketball or maybe have a realistic look at the WNBA?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I was always just super dominant. I took pride in scoring since I was a little kid, but I feel like as soon as I started playing AAU, I just sort of knew, like, that's what I want to do. As soon as the recruiting process started, I feel like that's when I knew, like, I can make it. I can pursue my dream. I just have to stay on top of everything.
Now, it's interesting. I think you were around 6th grade. Your dad got you your first shooting, I guess, assist, like Dr. Dish. Is that what it's called?
Dr. Dish, shooting gun.
Well, what's fascinating about this is that there was real purpose behind it because it allowed you to get a lot of practice time in by yourself, but more importantly, get many more shots up during the course of the day. So for those who don't know, can you explain what Dr. Dish is and how it helped you at that age to continue to pursue your efforts and improvement?
Yeah, so Dr. Dish, it's a shooting gun machine. So you put like 4 or 5 balls in it, and you can change the settings, what spots you want to shoot from, how many shots per spot, and basically just feeds the ball to you, takes your rebound, passes it back out. And I feel like that really helped me a lot growing up because just gave me extra shots. Like after every practice, after every game, I was taking 1,000 shots every night or beforehand. Like just was a really quick way I can get 1,000 shots up in an hour. So it's really efficient.
Now, do you try? I think I saw a number. You try to get up 30,000 shots a month.
Yes. I think it was something like that, yeah, and then me and my brother, every summer, we would have a competition to see who can have the most shots up by the end of the summer.
How fun has that been for you? Your brother, I think, is younger. How many more years older are you than your brother RJ?
I'm like a year and a half older than him, but he's a sophomore in high school right now.
That's great. What's the competition been like over the years with you two pursuing the same sport?
Yeah, so we've been workout partners since as long as I can remember. Me and him, we just go at each other every single day, push each other to be great. We both know what we want and what we want to accomplish, and I feel like we just use each other as an asset. Like he can learn from me because I'm 2 years older than him. He can learn from everything I've gone through with basketball, and I can also learn from him. Like this year, he was super efficient shooting threes. I mean, his dribble handles are really good, and I feel like when we work out together, it just pushes me that I have to have a tighter handle. I have to guard him a little better than I play defense, and yeah, we just push each other every day.
That's great. I actually read that he has taken a couple of things from your game, right? Like maybe see how you perform a move, or maybe it's a step back, whatever the case may be, and he can
Mhm.
take from that and learn and add it to his repertoire.
Yes, for sure. We always talk about it, like who can shoot better, but yeah, he's definitely super talented.
All right, your work or your off-season plan, your non-practice schedule for yourself to improve your individual skills, it's extensive. And so I'm just curious, how do you develop that? Because I know like younger NBA players would seek out some of the older guys like Kobe or others to help them
Mhm.
with their work because they think they're working hard, but they're not really doing the right things or enough of the right things to continue to improve and get to the level they want. Did it come from your father? Was it input from other people? How did you develop a system so that you know exactly day to day the things you need to work on and how much time you need to put in to continue to improve?
For sure. It was definitely my dad. He was always there for me, but I have a great circle around me. A lot of people put time into me. I'm super grateful for everybody. My trainers, DJ and Elijah, they've gone through basketball and they've seen the best and kind of seen everything around. And they've told me and my dad, they've given us both advice about it all. And my dad, he's around basketball all the time. He's kind of learned from them and he reads basketball stuff and all that stuff. And just in general, he's kind of picked up a really good idea on what I need to do to be great and be successful. And yeah, he just installed that into me at a young age. So he's definitely prepared me for what I have to go into next year.
That's great. Sarah Barhoum is in studio here on the Rip City Drive. You've been a part of the Jason Kidd Select. It's club ball. How helpful has that been for you in terms of improving your game with the competition you get to face in club ball?
For sure. I mean, going to Jason Kidd was probably the best thing for me. I had a coach who really pushed me and believed in me. His name was Coach Armando. He introduced me to all the girls on the team and in the program, and it was just a family culture, a family feel. And the girls were all super talented. I walked into that gym and everybody was super friendly, but as soon as we stepped on the court, it was like we're going at each other. Everyone's fighting for a spot. It prepared me for. It's definitely gonna prepare me for college. And then being able to play on that circuit, the Power 24, every single team you played, they were good. They were gonna come at you. You couldn't take a play off or anything. So it was definitely a really great experience for me.
You talk about that step up in competition. What have you been able to gather based on the people you've spoken with about the type of competition you're going to face at Oregon in the Big Ten Conference?
Yes, for sure. The Big Ten is definitely a super talented conference, super tough. I feel like just watching basketball, you can just tell the differences between conferences. In the Big Ten, they have a ton of great talent. I mean, it's a huge conference, a lot of teams. Everybody's super strong. The girls at the next level, they're bigger, faster. Yeah, it's definitely a difference from high school basketball to college.
All right, Sarah. At Clackamas, you finished third in the tournament. Then you won the state championship, knocked out in the semifinals last year, and fell in the tournament final this year. How difficult is it to get so close and not get over the hump? How do you process that? But more importantly, how do you move forward from that?
For sure. I mean, it was definitely a super tough loss. We got there. Tualatin was a super talented team. They're gonna have a great next 3 years, and I'm super excited to watch them play. But just moving past it, just looking back at all the memories we've made with the little girls in our community, and just the culture we've built around Clackamas basketball. I feel like this group, we've just inspired the next generation to come out, come watch us play, join our youth programs. We've definitely made more of a mark on this state than just like the basketball aspect of it. We've inspired the new generation, and I feel like that's the most important thing for me to just look back at.
That's great, and I'm excited you brought that up because what I'm hoping now with people like you and the other stars we see in college and the WNBA now that the younger girls who are watching will now have a desire to pursue basketball in the same way you did. So more of maybe more of our better female athletes will choose hoops, and then we can start to see better quality on the rise.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's just super special for me to just look around and see all the talented youth we have. I mean, my cousin, she's a second grader. She has a team of girls that love to play basketball. They put so much time in, and it's just super awesome, like getting to see them practice or just getting to see them play. They find joy in it, so it's just super cool to kind of see that.
That's great. How bittersweet was it though after that tournament final this year where you were going to say goodbye to you and the others 8 seniors who had helped resurrect the program at Clackamas? So is it sad in the moment to know that you had played your final game together with Jazzy and the rest of the crew?
For sure. I mean, we spent so much time together. We basically grew up together. Like, this is my family. These
So
girls.
you started playing what, like the 4th or 5th grade together?
Yeah, we've known each other forever. We started kind of playing together second grade, third grade. Me and Jazzy were on the same AAU team. And then I met all the other girls when we joined Northwest Select, which was Northwest Stars at the time. And we played together for 4 or 5 years before we went into high school together.
Wow.
And traveled every single day together. I mean, during COVID, that's all we did. We traveled to Arizona every weekend, played together, grew up together. So yeah, it was super surreal just like watching the clock go down, just knowing like this is my last time being on the court with these girls. And I'm just super grateful for the experiences and memories I've had with them. I mean, this was just super special.
Yeah, I know that talent, wins out, but how much did it help or the success of your team at Clackamas, the fact that you guys had known each other for so long, spent so much time together off the floor, you all had relationships, cared for one another. Does that help in terms of when you're on the floor in key situations because you know everyone so well, you know where each person's going to be? Is that kind of what it's like?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we knew each other so well. We knew how to bring each other up, get us going. We knew where we were going to be on the floor. We knew each other's best moves, best spots, the shots we wanted to take. So, yeah, just knowing each other super well definitely benefited us on the court.
So your high school experience was not normal because of COVID, right? We had a shutdown, couldn't do activities,
Yes.
couldn't go to class, couldn't see your classmates. How brutal was that time for you?
It was definitely super hard. I mean, transitioning my freshman year, we had to wear masks on the bench. So I was kind of in the middle. Like, my high school season, we were allowed to still play. We were allowed to be around each other, but it was definitely different. I mean, we weren't able to play. It was difficult for sure.
All right, I know you grew up going to Oregon games. Were the Ducks an easy choice for you through the recruiting process?
Yeah, I mean, the coaches were always super supportive of me. They really, really tried to make a deep connection between me and my family, and I feel like that was just something that stood out to me most about it. All the other schools that recruited me were also they believed in me as well, but Oregon has always been my dream school, and those coaches have always been super supportive. So, yeah.
I'm not a coach, but it would, based on the way you play and the Ducks' style of play, there seems to be a pretty good match there, right? In terms of playing fast and being aggressive on defense. Like, the style of play, does it match you pretty well?
For sure, yeah. They play really hard defense, and they like to run in transition and put up points. So I feel like that's the way I've always grown up to play. And it was a really big, important thing for me when I was looking at the schools I wanted to pick. And U of O definitely matched me in the way I play.
How overwhelming is it now when you go through the recruiting process and you see all of the opportunities that are presented to you through NIL? I mean, is it more so than what you thought? Like, what's the process been like as you've kind of absorbed all that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm joining collegiate basketball when NIL is sort of a big thing. And
Yeah.
I feel like being able to get paid to play is super awesome. I mean, you get to do what you love and get paid while doing it. And this was the first year I've sort of like started to pick up NIL deals and stuff like that. And I mean, it was a lot. I mean, I didn't really know like I could get paid to post things or do certain things on the internet. So yeah.
What are some of the brands you're representing right now?
Dr. Dish, and I have a couple like small little things like Good Molecules and stuff like that.
That's great. Now, your mother was telling me that for you, and I love hearing this, but you only want to work with like companies or products that you're actually going to really utilize yourself, that you truly believe in. So talk about your thought process there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would love to just promote a company that I've been using for a while and that I use and support. So yeah, it was definitely kind of a thing I had to think about. Like, I can't just take everything that I'm not like actually going to use in my day-to-day life.
Wow. Now, you mentioned this too, after you committed to Oregon. It's the wild, wild west. So what's it like? You commit, and then you still got other schools that are coming at you with offers and ideas and how you could fit in different NIL opportunities. What was that like?
For sure. I mean, it was definitely kind of crazy. My heart's always been with U of O, so I didn't think about leaving at all. But it was definitely kind of crazy. Like on the circuit, if I had a big game, coaches would text my coach about it, and it's just a crazy world. Like they're still trying to get you after you're committed. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
What was with your mom, your dad, with yourself as you were preparing for the recruiting process, what were the things that were important to you when you were looking at Oregon or different schools? Like just the different things you were looking for. Was it campus life? Was it NIL opportunities? Was it playing style? Was it the coaches? Like what were the different things? And what did your dad encourage you to focus on when you were picking your school?
For sure. I mean, my dad just encouraged me to go where I feel like I'd fit in, where the coaches believe in me, where the culture just fits in with who I am as a person. And for me, I feel like I paid attention to the coach, whether they're at my games or at their own games, like seeing if they're paying attention to the floor, seeing if they're on their phones on the sideline, or just how the players respond to their coach. If their coach is talking to them, how do they answer him? Do they him or her, do they either give him bad attitudes or do they go on the floor and do what they're told? And I feel like that was sort of a big thing. Like, do they have respect for their coach? And watching college basketball, a lot of girls just kind of brush their coach off, not listen or anything. And I feel like with U of O, people respect Kelly Graves and they respect the coaches on the staff. And I feel like that was a big thing for me, just watching them practice and watching them play. The culture is amazing. I mean, the girls are all best friends. That was definitely a big thing that stood out. Those girls are super close, and it was just a really great culture this past year. So I'm really excited.
Did you get an opportunity to talk to any current Ducks as you were going through the process? Because I know how it works in the NFL. I've talked to different pros that when they're in free agency and considering other spots, they'll just reach out to the boys that play on the team and be like, hey, give me the real take. What's the coach like? What's the organization like? Do they take care of families? All that stuff. And they get real insight from players. We're able to talk to some current Ducks to get a real feel for what the program was about.
Yeah, so I've been on a bunch of visits to U of O. I've got to talk to all the girls. One of the girls is from Portland, Sophia Bell, so I've got to talk to her.
Oh, good.
I've heard nothing but great things. I know a lot of people down there, and everyone just rants and raves about the program. And I've known those coaches for a long time. They've been recruiting me since I was a sophomore in high school, so just kind of building that relationship, just knowing what I'm going into is really something that stood out.
But seriously, like there's a lady that works here in the office. Her son just went through the football recruiting process. He's going to Oregon State, did make a visit to Oregon. He played at West Lynn. But they said, like, everything at Oregon, like the facilities, like how mind-blowing is it to see what you have access to continue to improve your skills down there?
For sure. I'm definitely super grateful going into it. I mean, some of the best facilities in the world. I mean, it's super awesome. They have a bunch of great, like, assets for me. I mean, one thing that was super, like, great going in there is that you can have access to the gym whenever you want until probably 3 a.m. in the morning or 6. Like, 3 to 6 is kind of the block where you can't go in. So I can be there all night, early in the morning.
That's awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
Especially for workaholics like yourself. You can always get in the gym, be able to pour in your time.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah Barhoom's in studio. So we'll come back and we'll have more with the Clackamas Star and Oregon Star. If you want to reach out on social, you'll find me there at Chad and Rip City. The telephone line is 503-248-0620. What a pleasure it is. Sarah Barhoom in studio here on the Rip City Drive. All right, Sarah Barhoom's in studio here on the Rip City Drive as she gets ready to take off to Oregon to play for the Ducks. Now, maybe this is just me, but I think that the men's game has gotten a little bit too friendly because the guys are all boys, But with the women, the competition and your willingness to engage in battles out there on the floor, like I really respect it, and it's a fun part of your game to watch. But do you feel that sometimes the intensity level with the way the girls will get after one another?
Definitely. I feel like those trial center games this year really tested us as a team. Some teams were just chippy. They were going at us every single play. They didn't care if they said anything, bumped us a little bit. So it was definitely a different environment than watching the boys play. I feel like the game's just a lot slower, in my opinion.
So, what has your dad taught you over the years on how to deal with people that will try to get a little rougher with you to get you off your game? Because we see that in the NBA, right? With Steph Curry being a great shooter, they try to get rough with him, a little more physicality to try and throw him off his game.
Yeah, I feel like as a shooter, you just got to keep your composure. But in general, just don't let people push you around. Just stay strong. Don't take a step back.
What are some of the things that you have been told that would be good to improve on now that you're going into college basketball? What are some of the specifics that you're working on either physically with your body or with your game that you want to continue to work on throughout the summer as you get ready for your first season in college?
So physically, just get stronger. Just put on weight. Try to build muscle, get faster, get more twitchy, and mentally just be ready to go into a gym full of dogs. Everyone's coming for you. You're playing at the next level. You just got to be tough mentally to grind. College basketball is a lot different than high school. Practices are longer. You got weights before or after. And just my game, I feel like I've been working a ton on just improving my shot still and just being more physical, being able to bump girls off their line or attack the basket, and working on my one dribble pull up for sure.
How's that coming with the one dribble pull up?
Good. I feel like I've been working off my shot a lot more. I'm playing against boys every day. Got some really tough girls in the gym with me every single day pushing me, so I feel like I've been able to get better at that.
And meaning in simple terms, so if you've got someone looking to close out on you, give them a little head fake or a little shot fake and then putting the ball on the floor and attacking.
Yes, for sure. Just use your shot as a weapon because if they leave you open, then you hit it. But if they're coming at you, then make them pay for it too.
Well, what area of your game do you feel the weakest in? That you know that it's tough, but it's an area that you've got to continue to pursue for improvement?
I feel like just stepping in to the next level, I feel like it's my defense. I got to get stronger. I feel like that's just a big thing because those girls are super tough. They're way bigger than me, so I feel like that's just a big thing I just need to improve on is just get stronger.
What is the difference between high school and college in terms of the overall size? You're going to be going up against more length, obviously older women, so they're stronger, but is it length and strength?
It's length and strength, and then also just those girls are older than me. They've had more experience, so definitely that, yeah.
When do you go on campus to begin your schoolwork?
Early August.
Have you been down there? Do you know where you're going to be staying at, where you're going to be living?
Yeah, so I'm living in an apartment complex right across from the arena, so I'm super close to everything. Yeah.
What a sweet arena you get to play in all the time.
Definitely.
Gosh, it's unbelievable down there.
Super nice.
That's got to be fun. You walk in, and it looks like, from what I can tell, the shooting backdrops, right? Good for someone like you?
Definitely, yeah. I'm super excited to play there. It's awesome.
I think it's always weird that the Final Four, they put it in those big domes. And if you're a shooter and you got that massive backdrop, like that would mess with my depth perception. Do you notice that when you go into a big arena or a bigger environment to shoot the basketball in? Can you feel and sense a difference?
Just a little bit, yeah. I feel like over the years playing in different gyms, I've kind of got used to it. But definitely at first, it kind of throws you off a little bit.
All right, so what are your big dreams? I know that playing college basketball is one, but farther out, like past college, like what are you looking to accomplish? Is it WNBA? Is it something else? Like, what do you ultimately want to do?
Ultimately, I want to play basketball for as long as I can, whether that's the WNBA or playing overseas professionally.
Wow, overseas as well?
Yes.
They got some good options over there. There are a lot of guys who don't maybe have the skills to get in the NBA here, but they can go overseas and carve out a nice, long, productive career.
For sure, yes. And I've been around players that have been in Euro leagues or stuff like that. One of my best friends, she's like a sister to me. She's playing in Australia and in Finland. So just being able to have that role model who's also she played at Oregon City High School. Her name's Sierra Walker. So she's kind of my role model. Just being able to be around her, work out with her, hear from her about all her experiences have just kind of grown on me a little bit.
How scary was it for her to go over to a foreign country to play basketball where you may not speak the native language, where you're going into areas and finding your way around in a brand new part of the world for the first time? What's that like for her?
She loves it. I mean, she's the type of person that's super creative and she's just kind of open to all that. So I feel like Sierra was just super excited to just be around the new culture and be around the new team and stuff like that.
Do you have anyone you pattern your game after? Like any, NBA players or WNBA players, someone that you've watched over the course of time that you try to pick up on some of their skills or that you see kind of a little bit of yourself in them?
I've always grown up watching Sabrina. Just her shot and just how quick she plays. Her motor is just super. It's something I've always watched. Like she just keeps going and going, and I feel like that's just something I really strive to be like.
Have you had a chance to spend time with her?
I haven't met her yet, but I feel like being at U of O, I feel like I'll get a
Your
chance to meet
chances,
her.
I would say, are pretty high now.
Yes.
But no, I love the way she competes.
Me too.
And she's a terrific shooter. And I thought what she did in the competition against Steph Curry in the three-point shootout, didn't you think that was pretty sweet?
I thought that was awesome.
I want to see Sarah Barham in that competition.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, that's pretty great. So for you, and I think this is important, but for, younger ladies out there who are in high school, who are getting ready to begin that recruiting process, like what's your advice? If they came to you and said, hey, I'm getting ready to consider these schools, what are the things that you would point out to them to consider as they go through that process?
Yeah, just kind of take it all with ease. Just don't get too kind of crazy over it. Just be super in control. Look at all the different things. Look at the culture. Watch the team play a lot. If you're really serious about a school, just make sure you watch them. I feel like just being able to watch the coaches and players and how they interact with each other is just something that stood out to me. And I feel like if I pass that along to them, it's something they can look for too.
And what about the NIL opportunities? Like what advice would you give when all those things start, coming at them?
Yeah, I mean, for me, NIL hasn't been a big thing. I feel like being paid to play is just, it's a
It's
super
not a
awesome.
bad thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome opportunity. Like whatever you're given, just take it with grace. I mean, just go play basketball. Like that's what you're doing. You're getting your school paid for. It shouldn't be the most important thing for you. It wasn't the most important thing for me. I mean, I don't even talk to my coaches about that. I'm just looking forward to being there with them and just be grateful for what you're going into, because it's definitely a super awesome thing. Not a lot of people can say they're playing college basketball, so just take that in.
How hard is it going to be for your dad for you to be away from home?
I don't know how my mom and dad are gonna handle it, but I think it's gonna definitely be difficult. They still have my brother at home, but it'll be hard for them. But at least I'm close. I'm only an hour and a half away from home.
Now, your brother's skills, is he looking at colleges now? Like, does he have an opportunity to go to the next level and play?
For sure, he's definitely good enough. He has some interest from colleges, and he's been to camps, and he's traveling on a circuit this year. So I'm definitely excited to see his future because he has a bright one.
That's great. That's pretty awesome. The cool thing about being at Oregon, too, is like you'll have family and friends and people that will be able to come and watch you play. And I know that's a big deal for a lot of college athletes if they go to a different part of the country. It sucks not to have your family or friends close by that can be there to watch you play and support you.
For sure. That was definitely a really important thing. Just having family near me. My almost half of my school is going to U of O, so I'll have a bunch of friends that I've known my whole life going there. A lot of my cousins attend U of O, so just seeing people I know in the stands and people being able to make that drive is definitely super special.
Oh, you mentioned this off air, but with your Jason Kidd Select, your club ball, you guys had a chance to travel and play overseas?
Yes.
Where'd you go?
We went to Croatia this summer.
Wow. What was the competition like over there?
Those girls were super talented. I mean, we went and played in their home gym, and it was 130 degrees in that gym. It was so hot, and we were definitely thrown off by that, and they just came in and they just attacked us every single play. Like they didn't take a single rep off. They were super disciplined, and it was definitely super awesome to see like the physicality of those girls.
Wow. And the skill level, like their skill level, their passing, the player movement and ball movement, like they're pretty well on top of it, right?
They play super fast. The ball doesn't stop moving, it doesn't stick. So it was definitely super awesome to see the culture over there.
And a good experience for you. I mean, as you mentioned, you're trying to work on your defense. When you see that type of offense and what you could be seeing at the Big Ten, like maybe help better prepare you for those type of moments?
For sure, yeah. That experience was just super awesome. I'm super grateful I got to be a part of it.
Well, Sarah, I appreciate you coming by and spending time with me in studio. I'm excited for you. Congratulations on all the hard work that you've put into your basketball and for the opportunity you got at Oregon. And now we get a chance to sit back and watch your pathway continue, which is awesome.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right, Sarah Barhom, big thanks to our mother Judy for bringing her by. We'll keep things rolling on the Rip City Drive. Casey Bay going to check in for the Autism Society at 5:20 from Shake Shack over at Bridgeport Village. You got the Rip City Drive with Chad Doing on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio. Hey, what's going on, my friends? Chad doing here. We start with the NFL. J.J. McCarthy says he knows he's ready to start at quarterback for the Vikings this year, and the 49ers have signed tight end George Kittle to a 4-year extension worth $76 million. Checking the NBA scoreboard with a quadruple doubleheader in the NBA playoffs. Second quarter in Indiana, the Bucks on top of the Pacers, 45-35. Indiana leads that series 3-1. And at 4:30 on TNT, the Pistons are at Madison Square Garden to meet the Knicks. New York favored by 5.5. The Knicks with a 3-1 series lead. Same thing in Boston. Celtics up 3-1. That tip-off at 5:30 on NBA TV. Celtics are an 11.5-point favorite. Game of the night, 7 o'clock tip on TNT. From the Mile High City, Nuggets host the Clippers. L.A., a 1.5-point favorite. That series is all tied up at 2. Colin Amos, law offices of Goldberg and Jones, coming in studio at 4:20. All right, I did not have an opportunity to get to this yesterday because we were talking about serious matters, and so I did not want to transition into the Bill Belichick story, but I think it's important to hit on this real quick. And I'm going to be honest with you, I know exactly what's going on here, but it's just weird to see the most successful coach in the history of the NFL and a guy worth many millions of dollars, someone that used to work for Bill Parcells, tell Lawrence Taylor what to do, yell at Tom Brady in team meetings on a weekly basis, and ignore Bob Kraft walking down a hallway within the Patriots facility, now unable to operate an interview or answer questions on his own. It's a good thing he's got his 20-something-year-old girlfriend there to direct traffic for him. It's just bizarre. It's like, what in the world is happening to Bill Belichick right now, who's the head coach at North Carolina? He went to college football. It's really strange, but he was on CBS Mornings. And keep in mind, this is the lighter side of CBS. It's not like a hard-hitting interview. He's on there trying to sell a book. And so there are certain questions that are going to pop up throughout the course of the interview because you're supposed to give off some details about the book so people want to go out and buy it. The problem is that Bill Belichick in an interview is one of the more boring, not exciting humans I've ever seen. For a guy that's so smart and can lead an entire group of men, when he gets behind a microphone, you can just tell he loathes everything about the entire process. And whatever. He's got a young girlfriend. He's Bill Belichick. If he wants to do that, whatever. But the problem is she appears to be asserting a lot of control in his life. So let's play this and try to unpack it. I think I know exactly what's going on, but it's still bizarre to watch. And I'm assuming that this can't go on much longer, right? Or can it? But here's Bill Belichick very awkwardly sitting in on CBS Mornings with a weird interview.
Do you feel like you were treated with dignity and respect when you were let go by Robert Kraft?
Yeah, well, it was a mutual decision for us to part ways.
He said fired.
It was a mutual decision.
The other change for Belichick is 24-year-old Jordan Hudson, his creative muse, as he writes in his book.
Make sure that that's good.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on, though Hudson has recently posted about it on Instagram.
You joined InstaFace, as you put it. I love that. There's some great pictures of you and Jordan, where you're a fisherman and she's a mermaid. It's charming. It's a different side of you. What's the reaction been like?
What's it been like?
To have these different sort of photos. There's another one where you're doing, I know you're not into meditation or yoga or Pilates. You're balancing Jordan on your feet. She's doing kind of the Titanic pose.
Yeah, so I'm on some of those social media platforms, but I honestly don't follow them.
Well, that was real comfortable. Thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate your time. Thank you for being more awkward than I could possibly imagine. Now, think about this. You got to keep in mind that Jordan was off camera, his girlfriend. And I think there's like 50 years of separation between Coach Belichick and Jordan. Strange, but whatever. She's off camera. I think that CBS probably put that little snippet in the interview because they were trying to let everyone know how much Jordan was involved in the whole process with the interview. That's what it feels like. That's what it looks like. Like they probably thought, well, for the sake of journalistic integrity, we have to put a snippet in to showcase how involved his girlfriend was in the entire process. It's just bizarre to me. It's like, come on, Coach. It's an interview. You're trying to sell a book. Do you need someone to tell you what you can and can't talk about? You're Bill freaking Belichick. Really bizarre. The weird part about the relationship is, I think, what most people think is like, okay, he's 50 years older. What in the world do you have in common with? If you're in your 70s and you're dating someone that's 20-something, what do you have in common? I'm just assuming that at age 70-something, if I sit around and hang out with a 24-year-old long enough, it might be pretty annoying. I don't know. Never been there, never done that. But if I was going to be there and do that, I would imagine that it would be annoying. So if I had to guess, what's your guess on why they're together? Bill Belichick offers access, prestige, power, money, and she offers probably the best experiences in the bedroom in the history of his life. That's my guess. That's my rough estimate on what's taking place there. And that's why he's able to put up with that. Guys have been known to put up with a whole lot of stuff because the bedroom activity is off the charts. But just like any other athlete, right? Or we look at Shedeur Sanders, when your issues start to outweigh your talents, then you can be cut. So I would suggest that Jordan is at risk of being cut by Coach Belichick because eventually her issues will outweigh her benefits. Just a rough estimate there on my part. It's like, come on, Coach. This is the same guy that used to coach Lawrence Taylor, the baddest dude ever. Would yell at Tom Brady with no problem. He was like the greatest quarterback of all time, but he would still yell at him and point out all of his deficiencies throughout every game. Do your job. He would ignore Bob Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, when he'd walk by him in a hall room. And now he is incapable of doing an interview without having her jump in to direct traffic. Strange. Very strange. I mean, the toe curling activity that must be going on for Coach, for him to put up with that must be like something that I can't even comprehend. But bizarre. I mean, like really weird. And then when they asked him about the social media, he acted like he had no idea what he was talking about. Oh yeah, I'm on there, but I don't really pay attention. What? We're not talking about that? Let me check with the boss. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not talking about that. It's embarrassing. Come on, Coach. Step it up, man. Step it up. And apparently now I saw a report where the University of North Carolina is concerned. And I don't know why they didn't want to talk about how they met. I think that's already been reported. Didn't they meet on an airplane? She was working on a school project and Coach was offering input or something like that. Like it was a very romantic moment on the airplane. I think that's how they met, was on a plane. That's a normal topic that people bring up early on when you get together in a group of people and you're in there with couples. They might ask, like, hey, how'd you guys meet? How'd you guys get together? It's not a weird question. That's not a hard-hitting question. Why not just say, yeah, we met on a plane, and it was great conversation, and we kicked it off immediately. There was instant sparks, whatever it might be. That's how they met. How's that a weird question? Why are they not talking about that? I don't know. It's just weird to see someone off camera directing traffic like that with Bill Belichick. Like, Belichick is not a dumb guy. He's very smart and very in control of every situation. and he and Bob Kraft obviously don't like each other. Bob Kraft says he was fired. Bill Belichick says it was a mutual parting of ways. In my experience, anytime you've seen the title mutual parting of ways, that means somebody got fired. You know, they just try to say the nice things. Like, we wish Bill Belichick the best on his future endeavors. How many times have you seen that email come out? I never want future endeavors to be listed after my name in an email because that just means I got fired. I don't know. It's weird. 50 years. Like, he could be her grandpa. Is that right? Yeah, grandpa. That's what it is, though. He provides the access, the prestige, and the money, and she provides activities behind closed doors that are off the charts. That's probably the connection. Am I missing something here? I don't think so. All right, you can reach out 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. You can also hit me up on social at Chad and Rip City. Big props to Tony and Boring, who walked away with one of our pairs for Dana Carvey, who's going to be at Spirit Mountain Casino this weekend. And why don't we do two more pair right now? In fact, we'll do that. So if you would like to see Dana Carvey in person this weekend at Spirit Mountain Casino, the Northwest premier entertainment destination, 503-248-0620. I want to hear from a Carvey fan. 503-248-0620. First two callers through right now will get a pair of tickets to see Dana Carvey live in person at Spirit Mountain Casino this weekend. Call now, 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. First two callers through will get a pair of tickets for Dana Carvey at Spirit Mountain Casino this weekend. Now, we mentioned Draymond Green and his defense and what he means to the Warriors. Here is Steve Kerr talking about Draymond's D.
When a team, when the game on the line, decides to post up Draymond and you're watching it, like how, on a scale of 1 to 100, how good do you feel about your chances in that situation?
1 being great or 100 being great?
100 being great.
100. I feel like 100. Yeah. I mean, he's the best defender I've ever seen in my life. He rises to the occasion, on top of being, a great defender, he's an incredible competitor. And so anytime, and we've seen it, I've seen it for 11 years, game on the line, Draymond making a stop. It's like having Steph Curry take the shot.
Yeah. There you go. Draymond Green, the heart and soul of the Warriors. They get the win last night. They're up 3-1. Here's a text message from the 503. This is what I heard from somebody else. Little Miss Jordan literally wanted to manage Belichick as if she was his agent. She targeted him. Well, whatever the case may be, it's bizarre. I mean, it's just really weird. It's like, come on, coach. Do you have to be that awkward in an interview? And if she is directing traffic for you, she needs to step her game up because she made you look awful. That's not going to help you sell books, coach. But I get it. He's like, man, I don't know what's going on here, but I need a lot more of this in my life. So he's willing to put up with just about anything. The whole thing of being off camera and be like, oh, we're not doing that. Because I've worked with PR companies before when they bring in people to be interviewed. All that stuff's discussed ahead of time. Like if there's something they don't want to touch on, you get a list of topics, or if there's a topic that's not to be touched, they let you know ahead of time. All right, we'll keep things rolling. Colin Amos, law offices of Goldberg Jones, divorce for men. He's going to be in studio next to answer your questions. All right, my man is now in studio from the law offices of Goldberg Jones, Divorce Men, 1-800-DIVORCE, Colin Amos. All right, before we get to relationship stuff, you just got back from a badass trip. Where did you go?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to head to Hilton Head, which
Yes.
I'd never been to Hilton Head.
South Carolina,
South
baby.
Carolina. Flew into Savannah, Georgia, which I'd still like to actually visit Savannah. I've heard it's awesome. But rented a car, picked up two of my buddies, one that had invited me to it, and headed off, stayed at a house, and went to the RBC Heritage golf event. Just phenomenal.
My brother lives down in Georgia. He's always talking about Savannah and saying, you got to get down here and check it out.
It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
It is amazing. I mean, I kind of like Portland. It's very humid there.
Yeah.
Which it was a perfect time to go because it wasn't so humid, but very green, lush, a lot of water. Obviously, that was it's a barrier area, which they used to say, yeah, nobody lives out there. But now they got golf courses and way too much money in houses and all sorts of stuff.
So you got to rub shoulders with some pro golfers.
Yeah, if you can call it that. Yeah, but my shoulders are a little bit heftier. These guys are really amazing athletes.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how
What
cut
stood
they
out?
were. Not how big they were. I mean, Ricky Fowler, we're having this brunch and they all come up and I knew that I was going and I was going to meet some of these guys, but all of a sudden we're sitting there and 7 of them just show right up and they're standing at the table and I'm looking at them and they're talking and Ricky Fowler is, he's been around for forever. He still looks like he's 25.
Yeah.
And he's so teeny.
Yeah.
But all of them are not huge, and they're very cut, and all of them are very humble, which I get because I play golf too, and you play golf, and it's a very humbling experience every time you get out there.
It really is. I can have a great round, and the next day I walk in with the same type of humble approach because I know that this day is the day the course could just chew me up and spit me out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you can never hit a hole-in-one, as I was mentioning. I try every time. I'm trying to hit a hole-in-one. Never have, by the way. But you just can't ever perform exactly how you would like, no matter how much you practice. And so these guys are out there. And, of course, one of the guys we hung out with quite a bit at different events was Mackenzie Hughes. And he came in, I think, tied for 9th. He won $1 million. And he, he's just so humble. And we were actually messing with him at a brunch. We said, hey, GPT asked us a question. He goes, oh, well, what is it? And so we asked him. And he says, that's kind of a layup. And he answered. And he goes, well, what other questions does that thing have for me? And, of course, my buddy who messes with everybody doesn't really care. He says, well, what does Mackenzie Hughes need to work on? And I'm like, don't answer that. You're going to mess your head up right before you go into the tournament. So he says, no, I want to hear it. And he started answering, started saying what the answer was. You're like 235th on the tour in driving efficiency and effectiveness. And so all of a sudden he's grabbing the phone and reading. He went silent for like 5 or 10 minutes.
He's
at
reading
the table.
everything
He's
he needs to
reading
work on.
everything that the AI has said. And I'm like, oh, my God, this guy's going to be a mess. But he ended up coming in tied for 9th. And I guess $1 million isn't bad for a weekend.
You know what's awesome about being around golfers at that level? Their approach, the way they handle everything on the course, and the way the ball comes out their club, it's just different.
Oh, it is. Because the first day we played in a scramble, and they would rotate like we played with 4 different pros, and they'd come out there, and they're just casual. They get out of their cart, and they hit the drive. 300, piped down the middle. And it's just, you don't know. They even are going different directions because you can't hit anywhere near where they're going to hit. And it's so effortless. And that's without really thinking or warming up. And then the putting, they just get out there and putt. And it is phenomenal without really spending the time. And then when they focus in, it's just another being watching them do that.
Gosh, I love that. But the overall experience of being down there, watching the golf, being around your buddies, like that was a good time.
It was. And I have to thank my buddy, Mike Jerry. He was with RBC. And, RBC does it right. They are really a great host. They give a lot to the charities and communities and all that. But everything we did was hosted. And, when I don't have to play golf or worry about my golf, all those free drinks can really mess up your game.
Yeah.
But you had a lot of swing oil all the time.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm glad you got to take in that experience. But I had the same, vibe that you did when I visited Georgia for the first time. Like, I looked around and I was like, I could live down here. Very nice.
Yeah.
I think what happened is I was scarred from the years I spent in Oklahoma. The humidity,
Yeah.
the excessive bugs like chiggers and different things that are
Mm-hmm.
in those parts of the country that aren't up here. Like, I'm just like, I don't need that again in my life.
Yeah, so we're on every course there's around water. So you got water and sand, which wreaks havoc with your golf game, but it's really beautiful. Every house, these big houses on the course, you see these netting that comes down, these screens that come down, and then there's alligators, there's turtles, but we're right there. It's still cool, chilly in the morning, so it's perfect time. But everybody had screens because you can't sit out there once it gets hot. It's just too many bugs. I'd hate it.
And isn't it awesome when you're walking a course like that to see what type of condition it's in? The greens, the fairways, the sand bunkers. It's not your local muni.
No, not at all. It's beautiful, but it's a different style of grass too, so it caused me a few problems. In fact, one of the pros, he actually picked up my ball and said, "Okay, here's where it is," and put it in the rough because we hit from his ball. And I was kind of flustered that he was taking care of doing the caddy thing for me, that I topped it, almost hit myself in the head, and the ball went like 20 yards. So, of course, he sees that all the time, so he was not giving me too much of a hard time, but it was, the grass is a little different there. I'll call it the grass. It wasn't my game.
Yeah, that's good. The stupid grass down there.
Yeah, it's the grass.
If it wasn't for the grass, it would have been fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's good, man. It's great. I'm great to have you in studio. Colin comes in every month to answer your questions in regards to custody issues, divorce, whatever it may be. And so we got more questions for you, Colin. And the first one here, Colin, what is the difference between sole, primary, and joint custody? Would you please explain?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's very relevant in Oregon. In Washington, not so relevant. In Oregon, they do define custody as legal custody. So a lot of people use it as parenting time when they get, joint custody. I want equal parenting time. But it's really not how we use it in Oregon. It's legal custody. And legal custody just relates to the decisions, non-emergency health care decisions, educational decisions, and religious decisions, which the court really stays away from that one. But outside of that, it's just a title. So when you're saying joint custody or sole custody, primary, you're just giving a generalized statement as to maybe what kind of parenting time. That's why I have to clarify when people say, I want joint custody. I'm like, what do you mean when you're saying it? So custody relates to decisions in Oregon versus parenting time, which after that you can call it whatever you want. And Washington, the reason I say that is Washington, the presumption is joint decision-making. They don't call it custody. In fact, they're a little softer with their titles. They go, you're either the residential custodial parent or the non-residential custodial parent, because they don't want to create titles that people can hit each over the head with.
So in Oregon, then, aside from those three, sole, primary, and joint, you'll still have a parenting plan that will explain the time that you get to spend with your kids.
That's where the focus is. So I tell guys, it's not a great joke, but there are two C words we never use with women, but one of the most offensive one is custody. It just gets, people get very worked up about their kids, as they should. They love their kids. So I tell people, stop saying it. Don't say custody. Just say, hey, I want a parenting plan. I want to co-parent. I want to work with you, shared parenting arrangement, and then work out what that means. Because people say, I want custody, and then they get into arguments, and I go, what kind of parenting time are you talking about? Well, we haven't got that far. It's like, well, that's what you need to be talking about. Don't worry about the custody word.
The telephone number to reach Colin for a free consultation, 1-800-DIVORCE. Next question. I've heard Chad talk about getting his parenting plan changed. Would you please tell me how that process works?
You make big mistakes, right? And then you pay an attorney a lot more money than you should to fix them.
What this means is you try to do this on your own without proper consultation, and then you wind up having to spend more money to get it fixed.
That's right. A lot more money. But we won't go there. But it was back then, we were only, $300 an hour?
Yeah.
When you
the prices have gone up. Inflation.
That's right.
But I think this is important for guys because what happens is, at least in my experience and the guys I've talked to, is that instead of seeking counsel so you don't understand how things should be structured properly, you get talked into a decision that is imbalanced. And then you're told, like, oh, we'll just put this on paper, but you can spend more time with them.
Come back later and we'll fix it.
Yeah, but that's not how it works.
No, it's much more difficult, like anything, to tear down something that's been built wrong and rebuild it right the second time.
Yes.
It's harder to get a good result. It's a lot more expensive. And so but the process, the question is, what's the process to change it? Basically, one, I'd want to meet with anybody or at least talk with them. Call me, I'll talk to you for free and discuss what are you trying to change? Because if you're going in there thinking, I want 50-50 parenting time because that's what I want, and I'm going to look at your case and I'm going to say, you're just not going to get that, but here's what you can get. That can help avoid a lot of problems in a modification, is setting, at least understanding realistically what you can achieve. And then let's map it out. And if it's minor modifications, you're just tinkering with time versus trying to switch custody to primary custody with you. Those are big differences in types of cases and approach.
That's a great answer. The next question I absolutely love. Colin, what are the primary ways that guys F up their divorce?
You can't say the F word on the. Oh, you can just say the F word. You can't spell it out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways. Their guys are awesome at popping themselves in the foot.
Yes.
Or effing their case up. The biggest is everybody oversimplifies this process. We're agreeable. Okay, you can be agreeable. It doesn't mean you know what you're doing. You can say, I got this, and we're friendly, or we're talking about this, or all we have to deal with is our kids. Yeah, if you like your kids and you want to spend time with your kids, sit down and figure something sensible out. The details of a parenting plan, property and debt division, spousal support, it's complicated. I joke about it. Oh, yeah, property divide by 2. There are a lot of ways that you can mess up or F up by dividing by 2. So just educate yourself at the beginning and make sure you understand what you're achieving. I'm not saying you have to hire an attorney, but at least know what you're doing. I've been doing it for 30 years. I know a few things. Talk to me.
Yes, and that's why we encourage you, if you call 1-800-DIVORCE, like this, I'm not joking, this is how it works. You call 1-800-DIVORCE, Colin will answer your call, and if he doesn't answer right away, he will call you back, and then you can list off the questions you have. He will answer, and you very simply will instruct them on what to do next. If they need an attorney, you will suggest getting an attorney. If they don't, you're going to tell them what to do. That's why you make the phone call.
Yeah, and the reality of it is I speak to a lot of people, probably over 70 different people a week. I only have 10, 15 actual consultations that people need to get in. Everybody else, I'm trying to answer their question. There's a lot of times I say, you don't need to come in for a consultation. Just go do these things or prepare it this way, or you're not ready.
Yeah.
Or don't do that. Don't pop yourself in the foot. So it's fine. Just give me a call or call somebody else. Have a meeting with somebody. Just be educated. There's no reason to make big mistakes.
All right, this next question is a good one. I would guess that you probably have gotten this a few times, but it says, Colin, my wife is filing for divorce. We have been married for 5 years. She moved into my house. Before we were married, I put in my own money and time to renovate the home and increase its value. How will the court view the house in my situation?
Be no problem because he signed a prenuptial, right? He called me and we did a prenuptial and it was hardly anything, pennies on the dollar, and that house is all buttoned up tight. No, most people do not do that.
That's a good question real quick. How much does an average prenuptial agreement cost?
We charge $2,500 flat to do a normal. Now, if it gets really crazy, but most of them are pretty much guys coming in. They just need to make sure it's done right. So we meet with them. We draft it. We meet with them again. We work through it. They get it to their other side. They may have changes. So we go back and forth, but around $2,500 is for an uncontested.
A small price to pay to eliminate future headaches.
Which leads us to this question. I'm sure that there's more than $2,500 in increase in equity in this house. But
based on the question, I would assume it's significant value that's increased.
Oh, yeah. So there's two variations to the answer to this question. One, did he ever put her name on the title or refinance and put her on the mortgage? Or he did not. So if he refinanced or put her on title or did anything, that's a commingling effect, and it's likely all of the appreciation and equity that he had prior to marriage has now been commingled and joined. And now it's a much more difficult case to get some of that equity or get more of that equity back other than just divide by 2. The other distinction is if he didn't put her name on title, in Oregon, the presumption is the appreciation of value during the marriage, sometimes during the relationship, is the what's divided. So if he had $200,000 in equity before he got married, made some improvements, then they're 5 years later, and now it's got $500,000 of equity, we can do a historical appraisal, back out that $200,000 of premarital equity, then the $300,000 of increase during the marriage due to improvements or market forces or anything else, principal pay down, you divide that. So 150 to her and 150 to him plus his 200. That's in general kind of the way it works.
But if you were to have done a prenup prior to that, you could outline it, right? Based on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically what the value is, the amount of money he put in with the improvements and so forth.
That is this is a classic prenuptial issue. Retirements, potential inheritance, businesses. People have cell-phone businesses that have some inherent value, and then houses. You're bringing in a house because we can chart out that all appreciation associated with that asset is separate, and then you can put improvements and contributions and payments as part of the prenuptial that says that will remain separate in the event of a divorce.
All right, next question. Colin and I have separated from my wife and moved out of the house to pursue a divorce. My wife doesn't want to list specific visitation for me and our 14-year-old daughter because she said I abandoned them. What is the proper parenting plan to pursue in the state of Oregon?
Well, that's crap. I can tell you that this is the kind of stuff that really kind of pisses me off when people call and says, my wife's going to say I abandoned my kid because we're breaking up. No, you're not divorcing your child. You're not abandoning your child. And the court doesn't believe that either. So if you advocate for yourself, the court's going to give you parenting time. But having a non-written agreement or no terms is a big mistake. So you want a set of rules that's objective, that's good for everybody. But most importantly, it's good for the kids. So the kids know what's going to happen. You know, weekends or holidays or vacations or midweek parenting time, all of that needs to be well articulated. And if you're getting along well with your soon-to-be ex-wife, even better. Do it then. Don't wait for bad things to happen. But if you're not getting along and she's saying you're abandoning your kid, that's crap. Just make sure you put in that detailed parenting plan so you can have a relationship.
Yeah, because in most of those situations, my guess would be you have people that are moving out to create some level of peace because you've decided you're going to get divorced.
That's right.
I need to get out of the house to create peace for everyone involved, and then we can continue to pursue that process. That's what's happening there, right?
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
abandonment. Yeah.
It's not abandonment because when you're leaving a high conflict situation or a caustic situation, an inflammatory situation that your child is hearing on a regular basis.
It's not good for them.
It's not good for the kids. But also what we deal with a lot is restraining orders. You get into these arguments, legitimate or not as legitimate, still there's conflict there. And all of a sudden, instead of trying to diffuse the situation, move out, now you're served with a restraining order. Now you can't be around your child at all until we go to court. You're spending a lot more money in legal fees. So leaving a tough situation for the moment has nothing to do with abandoning your child. That's just crap.
All right. Colin Amos, law offices of Goldberg Jones. His number is 1-800-DIVORCE. You can call anytime for a free consultation. Next question, my friend. Colin, what are the appropriate times to modify child support payments?
That's a great question. Child support obviously is critical, but it's calculation based. So this is one where I say definitely call me or go online. You can go Oregon State Child Support Calculator, just search it, and it'll give you the formula by which you can evaluate child support. A lot of guys say, I think my ex is now making more money. Well, I say, all right, well, your child support may change by $30 a month.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it. The real mover in a child support modification is if the payor, the obligor's income has either substantially increased or decreased, because that's going to move the needle. It's the obligee, usually the mother who's receiving support, her income doesn't have much of an impact. So it's the income is the most important element.
So
Other
if you have
costs.
a job change or you lose your job, it's perfectly normal to pursue that.
It's to consider it.
Yeah.
Again, then I run the numbers and say, okay, is it worth going through this whole process to say $75? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay me to do it. And there's other alternatives. Going through the Division of Child Support is a free process. It takes a while, and it's a cumbersome process, but they will handle it if there's enough time has passed. So at least review your options. You can know the answer before you take the test. You can just absolutely know how much am I really going to save in the ballpark, and then you can make better decisions on whether it's worth it.
Okay, that makes sense, because if you're, like you said, if you're going to save $30, you may just want to be like, it's not worth the
not
process.
worth the conflict or the money.
All right, one more question for you. Colin, my wife is divorcing me after 32 years. How does the court deal with pension plans?
Yeah, 32 years, that's a long.
How long have you been married?
I've been married 30 years. Yeah, it's 30 years. Yeah.
Be
What
careful how you answer this because your wife might be like, I've run the numbers on this.
Well, good thing I don't have a pension. She can't get my pension. Of course, I have a 401k. That's a different story.
Yeah.
But state workers and federal workers have PERS or FERS or CSRs. You have military pensions. You have all sorts of different types of union pensions, railroad pensions, all have different kind of mechanisms. But essentially, a pension is a defined benefit plan that pays monthly when you retire. And all retirement accounts, PERS, FERS, CSRs, 401ks, 403bs, deferred comps, TSPs, all can be divided with no negative tax consequence. So a pension, let's say that he put in 30 years and it was all during marriage. So there's a formula that goes in. The simplistic way is 15 out of 30 because half of the pension. There's a special court order we put together post-divorce. We negotiate it's going to be 50% of the pension. And you put in this formula, Quadro, Qualified Domestic Relations Order, signed by the court, sent to the plan administrator of the union, which they look at and it's like, that's our 100th divorce today because a lot of union members are getting divorced. And then they put it into their computer program. And when he retires or she retires, that money would then be automatically paid out directly to the other party. So it's pretty straightforward how you do it. You just got to put the formula together, get it to the plan administrator, and then when you retire, she gets her portion and he gets his.
Man, I hope that Bill Belichick gets married to his 20-something-year-old girlfriend because I really...
Without a prenuptial?
Yes. Because I want to talk about it so badly with you.
Oh, yeah. And, I could see him, as bad as that interview went with him, that him not getting a prenuptial. I could just see it. And then the field day.
45 minutes ago, Page 6 posted a picture where Bill Belichick's girlfriend has a ring on that finger.
It's good now.
It's a divorce attorney's dream.
Now, in my assessment, because I'm trying to figure out, 50 years separation, that's a little bit weird. But my guess is he offers money, access, and prestige.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's offering things that he can't even imagine behind closed doors. That's my guess.
You can't even imagine. Then maybe you could.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
No, not in his world.
I think it is very transactional. And, of course, you can build love around a transaction. Yes, absolutely.
True. Yes, you can. Yeah, there's no question about it.
No question.
All right. Colin Amos, law offices of Goldberg Jones. You can check them online at goldbergjones-or.com. 1-800-DIVORCE. Look, you call and save yourself a lot of trouble because Colin's going to point you in the right direction, and he joins me in studio every month. Well, another job well done, my friend. Congratulations on the successful trip to Georgia, hanging out with the golfers, and thanks for your time.
And now you get to cut it up on the course. It's your season.
I mean, it is. I'm so happy. I saw Rick at the final Blazer game.
Oh, that's right.
And I was in a good mood when I met him because I knew that the next day I was going to be on the golf course. I'm free, baby.
Bring it on.
All right. We'll keep things rolling here on the RipCityDrive Drive. Big thanks to Colin Amos. We're going to talk with Casey Bay, who's on site raising money for Autism Society at Shake Shack at Bridgeport Village. That's coming up at 5:20. All right, my apologies for the extended music playing, but I'll just give you a little preview of what's going on right now. Usually this time of the afternoon, there's nobody in the building except for me and Michael Shacker and Mr. Ford. Brad Ford's always here. He's like here all the time doing news, but there's no one else here, so I have to walk Colin out, and we've got all the security with everything locked, so I've got to have the key card to do this and do that. So, and of course, Colin and I are just BSing the whole time, and all of a sudden I'm walking down, and I can hear music playing loudly. Shacker comes out of the room. He's like, man, of all the times you're away from the studio when the segment starts, it's like I could have been playing metal, but instead I'm playing Sheila E. Now, wasn't Sheila E. the one in The Greatest Night in rock music or pop music? Didn't they use her to try and get Prince to the taping of We Are the World?
Yeah, it's a good idea if it worked. I mean, it would have been nice to have Prince to be part of We Are the World.
Yeah, I just feel
Whatever
bad for
it
Sheila
takes.
E. because she realized at some point in the evening they didn't really want her there, but they wanted her there just so they could try and lure in Prince.
Sheila E. is awesome. She did a free concert in Portland last summer in one of the parks
Did you
in
watch it?
Southeast. No, I was at the park the night before, so I missed out on her concert.
Yeah, that's unlike you to miss out on a concert. Now, are you going to hit Dana Carvey this weekend?
Definitely. And your Dana Carvey ticket winners are super stoked. This is a really good prize you're giving away today.
Yeah, it's a good pull by Spirit Mountain to get Dana Carvey down there. And I've been watching, just through my YouTube habits, I've been watching a lot of his stuff and seeing him on different shows. Guys, he's always been funny. And his impressions are amazing. He does all the different presidents and stuff. He's spot on.
And when he had a show, the Dana Carvey show, it only lasted for one season, disappeared. Probably got low ratings and people bashed on it. But I watched it recently on Hulu. It was extremely funny. It was funnier than what he was doing on Saturday Night Live. It just came out at a bad time, and it just maybe didn't get enough promotion by ABC.
Yeah. But it just goes to show you how tough, showbiz is. Like even a guy like Dana Carvey, you're not going to bat 1,000 with everything you pursue. You try everything. And if it doesn't work, you move on to the next thing and continue to try and reinvent yourself, which he has done. He's been a big-time player for a long period of time. He was one of my favorite characters on SNL. Like, he's up there on the all-time list, isn't he?
Yeah, and in the Wayne's World movies, that got the Saturday Night Live characters becoming movies. They started that trend.
Well, he was great. The Wayne's World skits were great. Yeah, it's high quality. All right, big thanks to Colin Amos. Yeah, what's cool about Colin is that, one, he's a cool dude. He's an attorney, but he doesn't talk like an attorney. He's just your ordinary average dude, and he's super cool. So I appreciate him coming in to answer questions. I wish I could have been down there with him at Hilton Head, South Carolina, checking out the tournament. And Georgia is beautiful. I've been down there. My brother's down in Georgia. I like it down there. You can reach out to me, 503-248-0620. 4 basketball games tonight, but only one that I'm really interested in, the Nugget-Clipper game. Every game in that series, aside from Game 3, they've all been fabulous. Right now, the Bucks lead the Pacers in the third, 51-46. My scoreboard may be behind. Let's double-check that. 71-69. So the Bucks doing a nice job of hanging on there. Third quarter with 2:27 to play. First quarter at Madison Square Garden. Pistons on top of the Knicks, 12-7. NBA TV at 6:30, or is that 5:30? My eyes fail me so often now. 5:30 on NBA TV, Magic and Celtics. Boston likely will win and move on. They're favored by 11.5. And then you get the awesome game, the Game 5, the pivotal game in that series with the Clippers and Nuggets. Surprisingly, LA, a 1.5-point favorite in that game. So I'm really enjoying the playoffs. I need more. I think we get it tomorrow. Timberwolves, Lakers, Game 5. Will the Lakers bounce back and give themselves a chance in Game 6? The history of the NBA tells us when you trail 3-1, you're in deep doo-doo. And then so tomorrow's going to be epic. Wednesday is quite the night. Warriors at the Rockets, Game 5, followed by the Timberwolves and the Lakers, Game 5. Both of those tomorrow, 4:30 and 7. I'm in. Loved the Warriors and Rockets game last night. Steph Curry would be concerned a little bit about his fatigue level. He didn't make a major impact last night, but I just wonder, those guys, Jimmy Butler was great last night. Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, playing huge minutes in the opening round. The Lakers don't have depth. J.J. Redick playing his key guys all the minutes. Same thing with Steve Kerr and the Warriors. It's tough when you have to play a physical team like the Rockets, and then you're going to jump right into a series with the Timberwolves. Good luck with that. And if you're lucky enough to get past that, then you got to deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are resting right now after disposing of the Grizzlies in a very quick moment. All right, we'll keep things rolling. Casey Bay going to check in from Shake Shack coming up at 5:20. If you want to jump on board, 503-248-0620. You know, Draymond Green, last night was a perfect example of everything he's about throughout his career. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll talk about it next. All right, my friends, 5 o'clock. Let's check the NBA scoreboard with the quadruple header going on right now. Into the third in Indiana. Bucks and Pacers tied up at 75. Indiana with a 3-1 lead in that series, a win, and they will advance in the Eastern Conference playoffs. First quarter in New York. Pistons on top of the Knicks, 15-14. New York has a 3-1 lead in that series. At 5:30 on NBA TV, the Magic are in Boston to meet the Celtics. Boston has a 3-1 lead in that series. The nightcapper is a good one. 7 o'clock tip on TNT. Clippers and Nuggets from Ball Arena in Denver. That series is all tied up at 5. This being a pivotal Game 5. And tomorrow night's going to be epic. Warriors and Rockets at 4:30, followed by the Wolves and Lakers at 7. From the NFL, J.J. McCarthy says he's ready to start for the Vikings at quarterback, and the Niners have re-signed George Kittle to a 4-year extension. All right, enjoyed that, and big thanks to Colin Amos. Just laughing about Bill Belichick. I just heard a couple of conspiracy theories that I'm not going to repeat on the show, but it was pretty funny. It's so wild and bizarre. It's like, what's going on here? All right, we're going to check in with Casey Bay, who's got his big walk, Beefwater's one-man march for autism tomorrow. He's going to walk from here in Tigard at the station down to Motor Center. He's got to get there in less than 4 hours. Basically, from the start of the morning show on 105.9 The Brew, he's got to get down there before the end of the show. So it's got to be less than 4 hours. That's all. And based on the map, it looks like he can make it. Now, Shaq, you did a mini walk today. What did you learn about pacing and distance? What did you do today?
Well, I had to drop a car off to get repairs. Coincidentally, the same path he'll be taking, part of the path. So I did a mini beef walk today where walked 1.7 miles. GPS said it would take 38 minutes, and I did it under 28.
Well, that's good news.
So there is possibility of him shaving some time off because he's doing it off the map app, telling him that it should take 4 hours. But if he does fast, maybe do some jaywalking, he should be able to shave some minutes.
Yeah, if you come up to a traffic light that's giving you the red hand, telling you to stop, if there's no cars coming, just move along. Move along.
And if the light's about to change, sprint, because that'll add like 3 or 4 minutes waiting for the light cycle.
No question about it. So he's going to check in. Shake Shack's doing something really awesome. In fact, you still have time to stop by today, and you can make an impact. If you say Donation Day or you use the promo code DONATE, from open to close, Shake Shack was like, hey, we want to be a part of this. Their location at Bridgeport Village. They're going to donate 25% of your entire order to the Beefwater one-man walk for autism, which is going to grow his number. And I think he's already up around $3,500. And this is all organic. He was just wanting to do the walk to raise awareness for autism. His son, like my son, has autism. And now he's in a position to where he's already up over $3,500, and that's not including the help from Shake Shack. So a big opportunity for you to make an impact. So stop by, grab some food, get some dinner, or as Shacker said, stop by for a little, post-work dessert and get a shake. They make great shakes. So there you go. It's pretty great, and I'm pretty excited for Casey. He's a good dude, and I like what he's doing. So the walk's tomorrow, but today is the day you can swing by Shake Shack at Bridgeport Village and pick up some grub and help out because 25% of your order is going to help. So if you say Donation Day at the counter, or if you use Donate, the promo code on the app or at the kiosk, then you're dialed in. And 25% of your order is going to go to support autism. So very cool. And Casey will check in coming up at 5:20. You can hit me up, 503-248-0620. All right, so we have a couple of different things going on right now. So I think we have one more pair for Dana Carvey down at Spirit Mountain Casino. So we're going to do it right now. And then at the end of this segment, we're going to give away a 4-pack of tickets for the Hops to see Eugene coming up in May. You can sit in the Rip City Radio row. So right now, I want to hear from a Dana Carvey fan. First caller through at 503-248-0620 will get a pair of tickets for Dana Carvey this weekend at Spirit Mountain Casino, your Northwest premier entertainment destination. 503-248-0620. Fire away. 503-248-0620. First person through, speed dial, pair of tickets for Dana Carvey. But do it now. Fire away. 503-248-0620. Spirit Mountain. Carvey. Live. 503-248-0620. All right, so we'll get that taken care of. And then I've got the 4-pack of tickets for the Hops to see Eugene. You can sit in the Rip City Radio Row and take in some baseball. It's basically Rip City Liquidators today. If you need it, we got it. And that's what I'm here for, is to help people. All right, let's talk a little playoffs. You know, Draymond Green, he's just a classic example of if he's on your team, you love him. And occasionally can't stand him, especially when he gets suspended and it impacts your ability to win a championship. But especially if he doesn't play for your team, you despise him because he's a villain and he's an instigator. And yet at the same time, he's a Hall of Famer who is the heart and soul of that Warriors team that's been a dynasty and has won 4 championships because what he brings to the defensive end of the floor. And here's what I love about Draymond. He's one of those guys who can impact a game and turn a game around and not even make a single shot. He's not a great scorer. He's not a great shooter. He's a bit of a liability on offense, but it doesn't matter because he brings everything else to the table. He can rebound. He's a great passer, assist man. And then defensively playing that free safety role, he's able to sit back and identify what's going on, direct traffic, and then make plays. And that's what he was doing last night. And yet, at the same time, he was making the decisions that drive you crazy about him. Got a flagrant, got a technical, had 5 fouls, got in foul trouble, probably should have been booted from the game. And the Rockets were clearly going out of their way to irritate him and try to draw him into that type of activity. But he was able to survive, and he was on the floor for that last play. And he talked about it after the game, like, how were you able, what's your mindset with 5 fouls? Because a lot of guys, once they get 5 fouls, they just show no resistance on defense because they don't want to get tagged or whistled. Here's what Draymond had to say.
Just not pick up a cheap one, but, you know, I'm never going to be one of the guys that just because you got fouls, you don't defend. I feel very confident in my defensive ability to defend without fouling. And so I'm going to contest at the rim. But in that situation, you just got to make sure your fundamentals are clean. And so that's what I try to do. If I'm going to go vertical with a man at the rim, or if I'm going to guard Shin going at the post, I just try to make sure that my fundamentals are there, you know. But yeah, I can't be a guy for this team just because I got fouls. I lay off. Like, I'm our defensive anchor. You got to be that. And if I foul out, I just foul out. I'm better served. I can better serve this team just playing. And if I foul out, I'm gone, then staying out there and just giving up baskets.
All right. He really is the heart and soul. And I had a chance to cover him for a couple of years. I loved him because he was always willing to talk and answer any questions after a game. He's a terrific defender, instinctual basketball player, high IQ. And the team would not have 4 championships without him. And in fact, he was so good when the Warriors originally got him. That's when Steve Kerr had to have that conversation with Andre Iguodala, where he pulled him aside and said, look, Andre, I have a new role for you. I know that you're a legitimate player and a big-time starter, but I need you to come off the bench and be the captain of that second unit. And it's going to be better for you. More importantly, it's going to be better for the team because Draymond is so good that we need him on the floor. And as a result, the Warriors won a championship, and Andre Iguodala won Finals MVP in his role as 6th man. Because Steve Kerr was able to paint a picture on how he would benefit and be more valuable to the team by coming off the bench. But that was because of the play of Draymond and how good they were with him on the floor. And yet Draymond also, because of his lack of self-control and desire to kick guys in the da-da-das, got suspended and cost the Warriors in the finals. They were up 3-1. And he ends up getting booted out. And as a result, It cost him. He missed Game 5. Warriors lose Andrew Bogut, and the Cavs go back home and have a chance to force a Game 7. And they end up winning the championship. And he was pushing the limits last night. He probably should have been booted. So he was being crazy. But they're willing to put up with the crazy because of the production that he gives them on the floor. And the toughness he brings to the floor, the way he's able to instigate, and he does a very good job of intimidating guys and getting under their skin. And you saw Alper and Şengün. He didn't want any part of that. And Draymond was willing to step up in that moment and get the stop. And Draymond talked about that last shot by Şengün and then was asked about the technical foul.
He likes the ISO right in the middle of the paint. So he started coming downhill. I gave a little ground. And Stack always tells us it's a time that you have to get serious. He says it's time to get, and you just try to pick that point, I want to pick it too early where, he's facing me, and now I pick up a cheap one, so just try to find that sweet spot and where to get serious, as Stack says, and I thought I found a good spot. He took a deep jump hook.
You said sometime, I think it was a couple days ago after last game, about your technicals and how you sometimes strategically use them.
Yeah, I got a technical tonight, and there was guys way more aggressive than me. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Well, what happened overall in that second? I think it was the second quarter, and from the technical, and then
they were trying to muddy the game up, but it's fine. We kept it pushing.
All right, Ime Udoka was asked a little Q&A here with Ime on the issues they're having offensively with Draymond on the floor.
Do you feel like you have any route to efficient offense when Draymond is in the game, and what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, we got some looks and used his aggression against him and got him in foul trouble there. He's kind of roaming all over the place, and so make the right read, you'll get open looks off him, and so I think Alpi was going well regardless. The plan was to go attack Green, and I think he did that, had some success there, and missed some easy shots early, but settled in there. So just continue to be aggressive there, and it doesn't matter who's on Alper, and we feel like we have an advantage every night.
Now, Steve Kerr was asked about that final play.
What was going through your head when you saw that the final defensive stop unfold with Şengün versus Draymond and then the Jimmy rebound?
Well, what was going through my head was call a timeout. Either way, made or missed, we wanted to get the timeout so we get Steph back in. I just thought, Dre, played phenomenal defense with 5 fouls. Most of the fourth quarter he's out there, and so he did a brilliant job, and we were able to get Şengün forced out a little bit further than he'd been for most of the fourth, so it made it a tougher shot. And then, as I said, Jimmy made an amazing rebound.
It's not like the shot was bad, and it's not like Draymond blocked his shot. Şengün got a good shot up. It just didn't go in. But Draymond did a good job of standing his ground and making Şengün shoot the ball a little bit farther out. Because had he been able to get a couple of steps closer to the basket, he probably makes the shot. Because Şengün was dominating. And he was in a rhythm last night. He was quite comfortable. And it's unfortunate, too, for the Rockets because Fred VanVleet was on fire from 3. And that final shot he put up at the buzzer, it came up short and did not draw iron, but it was right on line. He just couldn't put enough on it because there was a pretty good contest on the shot by the Warriors. What a game. What a series. Loving these first round of games in the NBA playoffs. All right, we'll keep things rolling. We got to check in with Casey Bay. Tomorrow's the day for the Beefwater one-man march for autism, and right now he is out at Bridgeport Village at Shake Shack buying some food and helping support what Shake Shack has stepped up to do by donating 25% of all orders today to raise money for the Autism Society. So this is all good, and Casey Bay going to check in for Bridgeport Village coming up next on the Rip City Drive with Chad Doing. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, we have a 4-pack of tickets for the Hillsborough Hops right now. It's Hops Ticket Tuesday. If you would like to see the Hops take on Eugene coming up May 9th at a Hillsborough Ballpark, call 503-248-0620. Right now, we'll take the first caller through a 4-pack of tickets for the Hops. You can sit in the Rip City Radio row. 503-248-0620. Call now, and you could take part in Hillsborough Hops baseball. 503-248-0620. This is for the game against Eugene on May 9th. 4-pack of tickets to the first caller through at 503-248-0620. Call now, 503-248-0620. All right, joining us right now live from Bridgeport Village, from Shake Shack as he gets ready for the Beefwater one-man March for Autism tomorrow. It's Casey Bay. Casey, how are things looking out there at Shake Shack right now?
Dude, we are doing good. We have a respectable patio out there, people hanging out. We're crushing burgers. I'm here with Drew and his family from the world-famous Tanner, Drew, and Laura Morning Show on 105.9 The Brew. And we've also got Mariah from the sales team out here as well. And we are just stuffing faces, drinking shakes, watching that line continue to build heading out the door. And it's a good day here at the Shake Shack.
Dude, I love it, man. And big props to the Shake Shack. They wanted to get on board. And so right now, between now and closing time, if you stop by and you say donation day at the counter or use the promo code DONATE at the kiosk or on the app, they're going to give 25% of your entire order to Beefwater's one-man March for Autism for the Autism Society, which is tomorrow. And I love that Shake Shack was able to jump on board, and I'm happy that people are wanting to support.
Dude, it's been great. They've been very, very hospitable to us here today, and I couldn't be more pleased. This morning we crested the $3,000 mark in donations, so I think we're sitting currently at around $3,200.
Awesome.
We'll see what we pull in at Shake Shack here today, and then tomorrow we will keep the foot on the gas, as they say, and see what we can't finish strong with. But yeah, you got until 10 p.m. to make it out here to Bridgeport Village. Come in here and grab a little bite at the Shake Shack and help do your part without doing a whole lot of extra work.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Now, what time are you arriving at the station tomorrow before you take off with Court Weber for the walk?
I will be hitting the station probably about 5:15. Then the show is going to go live a half hour early, so they're going to kick out at 5:30. I am going to hit the pavement sharply 6 a.m.
That's awesome. And Shacker, I think he had texted you earlier. He did a little test walk today of like 1.7 miles. He thinks if you keep up the pace that you're easily going to be able to crush that 4-hour mark.
Well, that is the hope. Yeah, he came in and he swung by the office when he got there, and he was showing me what the GPS said it should have taken and what it did take him. And he goes, look, I just want you to know that I pushed it hard and I beat it. And he goes, I also want to point out that that's coming from a guy who's like not exactly in shape. And I said, well, you look like $1 million to me, dog.
That's great. Now, what was your food choice? What did you eat at Shake Shack today? Did you go shake or did you go burger and fries? Like, what did you choose?
All of the above. I went with a chocolate shake, some fries, and then the burger is what they call the Shack Stack burger, cheese, and then a stuffed fried portobello mushroom.
Oh.
That is stuffed with some, I think, Gruyere cheese. So you get a little, you get the cheesy patty, you get the deep fried mushroom that's stuffed, and it is absolutely, it's fantastic. I would get this 3 days a week if I was, had the flexibility.
You know, it's great. When you first came up with this idea to walk from the station down to Moda Center, you were just wanting to raise awareness. You had no idea it was going to blow up into something like this.
Look, it straight up grew legs of its own. I think tomorrow will be 10 days that it came to life. But since Tuesday, we raised all that cash since Tuesday. So where are we at, 4 or 5 days? I mean, it's impressive.
It really is. All right, so they're open now. Shake Shack's open all the way up until 10 o'clock. So anywhere between now and 10, if you swing by, use, say, donation day at the counter or use the promo code DONATE, they're going to donate 25% of your entire order to the Beefwater one-man March for Autism. So there's still plenty of time, almost four and a half hours for people to come by and buy something to eat.
Yeah, it's amazing. So huge props to Shake Shack stepping up and just taking this thing over the finish line. I had somebody show up here that drove here from Estacada.
Estacada.
Estacada in the house, representing, coming here to get a burger just to support the cause. I couldn't love them anymore.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Well, I tell you what, thanks for checking in. Enjoy your time out there at Shake Shack, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow when you cross the finish line at Moda Center.
I cannot wait to see that beautiful face of yours, Chad.
All right, you got it, buddy. All right, there you go. Beef Waters One-Man March for Autism coming up tomorrow. Good luck, brother.
All right, thank you again for everything, man. I really appreciate your support.
You got it. There you go. I think Casey Bay just said Estacada. It's not one of my favorite places on the planet. I'll never forget what happened to me the last time I was out there. I don't think I've been to Estacada ever since, and for good reason. So I went out there to broadcast a basketball game for the great Don Koss, Estacada, and I forgot who they were playing that night. It really doesn't matter because I didn't get to finish the game. So I had this thing called a Cellcast, a pretty sweet device that worked off a cell connection, and you would plug it in for power, and it had this cord with an antenna that I would find a place to magnetize it to. And so I got set up. You dial into the station, and I had my buddy Steve there who was broadcasting the game with me, and we start broadcasting the game. And it was like first quarter, and we're sitting there in the gymnasium there at Estacada High School. And all of a sudden I look over, and my buddy is holding up two ends of the cord that is attached to the antenna, to get good reception so we can actually broadcast. And what had happened is it's some guy that was there wearing like a camo jacket and a big dude with a Rambo knife. He was irritated that we had one little section of one seat covered with the cord. And so he literally pulled his knife out and just sliced the cord in half. And that ended the broadcast in the first quarter. So, of course, I was perplexed. So I called Don Koss. I'm like, Don, some guy with a Rambo knife just diced the Cellcast, and now we cannot broadcast. He's like, and Don had a very deep voice. Well, Chad, why on earth would he do that? I have no idea. But I did not want to approach the man and ask him why he would choose to do something like that because he was a big dude. So Don said, well, you need to get a hold of the authorities. We've got to receive payment for that. That's an expensive unit right there. So I went to the police officer who was in the building and explained what happened. And then he went over to talk to the guy. And it was pretty embarrassing. I felt bad for the girl because his daughter was playing in the basketball game. And the cop walked over to walk him down the steps of the bleachers and walk him over to the side of the gymnasium. And he admitted to what he did. And the cop gave him the option of either he could be arrested or he could give money to pay for the damage that was done. And I forgot what the cost of the court was, like $170 or something like that. So he literally walked across the parking lot, went to the ATM there in Estacada, probably the only ATM, pulled out the money and came back and gave it to me. And I'll never forget when my boy and I left that gymnasium, we were like, let's get the heck out of Dodge. Someone might be looking down the scope of a shotgun right now, getting ready to take us out. That's my Estacada experience. Big dude, camo jacket, Rambo knife. Bye-bye Cellcast. And then Steve and I got the heck out of Dodge. And I have not been to Estacada since. That was a long time ago. Now, I'm not saying that everyone in Estacada walks with a Rambo knife and is crazy and will dice up your Cellcast if you're trying to broadcast a game, but that's what happened to me. There you go. But the look on my boy's face, Steve, when he was holding up both ends of the cord, I was like, what? And a literal Rambo knife, too. I got a Rambo knife once. Like, I was a big fan of Rambo. Anything Stallone back in the day I was down with. But we were at some mining town, some old town in Colorado on a camping trip once, and they had Rambo knives. It had the whole deal where you open up the end. Like, the end of the knife, it had the compass, and you could turn that off, and then inside it had, like, the fishing line and the needles. So if you had to sew yourself up, so if I jumped off a cliff and had to catch myself on a tree, I could sew myself back up. It had the flint stone in there where you could sharpen your knife. It was awesome. I did buy that once. My dad got it for me. I thought it was cool. Rolling around in the campground with my Rambo knife. I did not find a Cellcast to dice up on my camping trip, though, unfortunately. All right, there you go. That's my Estacada story. And big props to Shake Shack. So, again, they're open until 10 o'clock tonight. So you got 4.5 hours. Swing by, grab a shake, or grab a burger with the cheese and the patty and the stuffed portobello mushroom like my man Casey. Whatever you buy, just say donation day at the counter or use the promo code DONATE on the app or at the kiosk, and they're going to donate 25% of your entire order to Beef Water's one-man march for autism. That's a pretty sweet deal. And again, Shake Shack deserves props because we did not reach out to them. They reached out to us and wanted to be a part of it. All right, let's check the NBA scoreboard right now. Like I said, there's only one game that I really care about tonight. Nuggets Clippers right now, fourth quarter, 53 seconds to play. And somehow, some way, without Dame, Giannis 28 points, 16 boards, 11 assists. And Milwaukee with a 103-99 lead. And Giannis just missed a free throw. So 4-point lead for the Bucks with 39 seconds to play. If they win, they'll go back to Milwaukee for a game 6. Second quarter in New York. The Pistons trying to stave off elimination. On top by 5, 40-35. Knicks with a 3-1 series lead. And then at 5:30, Magic and Celtics. That's coming up in just a few minutes on NBA TV. And then the best game of the day, 7 o'clock on TNT, Clippers, Nuggets. Game 5, that series tied up at 2. L.A. favored by 1.5. Really looking forward to that game. That finish in Game 4 by Aaron Gordon with the tip dunk, where I couldn't even tell. It's like, I think they got the call right, but I couldn't tell if his fingertips were still on the ball or not. But I think they got it right. He came out of nowhere like a missile. I was like, what just happened? So it's going to be great because you got multiple guys playing high-level basketball in that series. Jokic, Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers have gotten valuable contributions from their role players, including Norman Powell. That's been a fun series to watch. Tomorrow's going to be great because we get 2 games in my 2 favorite series, Wolves-Lakers, Rockets-Warriors. So that's going to be big time. And right now, Detroit on top by 2, 40-38 with 3:39 left in that first half. A couple other things I wanted you to hear. Ime Udoka, I don't understand these teams. I don't understand how they can't make free throws. Like, how can you be in the NBA and be so piss poor at shooting free throws? Can you explain that to me? It's the easiest shot in the book. But last night, the Rockets, in their loss, 19 of 31 from the foul line, 61%. They gave up 12 points at the line. And the Warriors were 20 of 22 for 90%. So they shoot 9 more free throws than the Warriors, and they made 1 less free throw. It's like, come on, guys. Make a free throw for crying out loud. And they were going hack a kiwi on Steven Adams because he's not very good at the foul line. But here's a Q&A with Ime Udoka on the free throws.
Coach, your second game in a row that you all have shot bad from the free throw line. What seems to be the mentality on the free throw shooting?
Can't tell you what the mentality is. I think you go up there to make them, but obviously missing. I think we missed 12 tonight. It's not good enough in a one-possession game. So it takes it back to game 1 when we shot poorly from 3 from free throw. And if you're going to make some of the mistakes it'd be good to cash those in and obviously give us a little margin for error.
Yeah, it'd be good to cash in on those. I mean, in series that are so highly contested and in games that are going to be so tight, you can't give up 12 points on the free throw line for crying out loud. Like a miss or 2, that's fine, but you can't miss 12. They're NBA basketball players for crying out loud. It just drives you crazy. I'll never understand the free throw thing because these guys, as much as they play and as much as they practice, they should make their free throws. And don't get me started once again on the Sasha Vujacic sports science episode where they strapped him on stilts and gave him oversized hands and he was still stroking him in. But you get some of these guys at the line and you can tell like Şengün was struggling. Steven Adams is a disaster at the foul line. And Steven Adams has been playing great in the series. His weak side defense with the shot blocking last night was terrific. He's a tough guy. He's kind of old school. I like him. But you got to be better than that. It's like, come on, man. Steve Kerr talking about the Rockets' adjustments.
I just think every game's different, and they made big adjustments tonight. Playing that double big lineup more, playing Green less. But next game could be entirely different as well. So all these things unfold differently each game. and you have to adapt and adjust while it's going on.
You know, speaking of Jalen Green, he's supposed to be a star. He had 8 points on 3 of 8 shooting. Like, what's up with that? Hey, Jalen, can you be a little more aggressive? Can you look to attack a little bit more? Like, I don't understand the lack of assertiveness there. You want your best players to be aggressive. Even if you're not making shots, continue to fire away because eventually they're going to go in. And that's why I appreciate the true scorer mindset. Like Kobe Bryant, yeah, I'm a shooting guard. Get over it. That's what I do. I'm going to continue to put up shots. But Jalen Green's got to be more aggressive. But you could see him kind of cower from the activity in that game last night. Unacceptable. 3 of 8. I mean, if you want to be a star, you got to be aggressive. You got to demand the ball. You got to look to be active because your team needs you. And the Rockets need scoring right now. Love Amon Thompson. Love watching him play. His defense was tremendous. He had a good all-around game. Dylan Brooks, I respect him. Aggressive. He was in attack mode last night, but Fred VanVleet was great. 25 points and connected on 8 of 12 from three-point range. His three-point shooting was critical. But again, 8 points for Jalen Green in 25 minutes. Wasn't aggressive, didn't look for a shot. He just wasn't a part of the action. You got to be better than that. You got to be more aggressive than that. And I wouldn't mind seeing Jabari Smith Jr. get a little more involved in the offense. Şengün was solid. 31 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. And he played 42 minutes in the game. He got up a good shot, not a great shot on Draymond. It did not go in. All right, we'll keep things rolling. Rip City Drive, I appreciate your time. We're back tomorrow, 3 o'clock, and Sean Hyken's going to join me in studio for the 4 o'clock hour. I've always wanted to see Loverboy in concert. I missed him last year. Shaq told me they were awesome.
Yeah, they played in your backyard.
I did watch an interview with Christopher Cross, Steve Lukather, Joseph Williams, and Colin Hay in preparation for this tour coming up this summer with Men at Work, Christopher Cross, and Toto. It's going to be awesome. They're doing it for the right reasons. And they love doing what they're doing at their age now, which is great. And they appreciate the fact that people are still showing up to listen to their music. They've noticed that they have younger fans now that are showing up in attendance because their songs have been made popular again through pop culture. And they're just happy to be where they're at. It's cool, man. I'm down.
When it comes to town, it's the same day as the first day of the college football season. And I was hoping that the Oregon State season opener game would be moved to a Friday because they just announced the TV deal for the Pac-12, the last year of 2 teams in the Pac-12, but it hasn't happened yet. But can you make that happen? Move a college football game to a Friday so I could see Toto and Men at Work?
Well, that's exactly why I think I'm going to go to Vegas to visit my boy Steve, and they're playing there on the 23rd down in Vegas. You were telling me you've been to the casino before. It's a smaller casino they're going to play at, but I want to be watching football on the first day of college football.
Is that week 0?
I think it's week 0. Yeah. Yep. Week 0. But yeah. That's gonna be a great show. What I've been looking around. There's another one coming up in the Band America is going to be playing down in Vegas as well. I think in September, late September. I've seen them in concert a couple times, and they're continuing to tour. So I think I might have to reinvest in watching them one more time because they were so good. Last time I saw them was down in Laughlin, Nevada. That small Vegas town, old school Vegas town that's on the border there with Arizona. But they're really good. But yeah, I'm all about going to check out shows.
And Kansas is playing at the Clark County Fair. I kind of need to see that because it feels like Kansas has toured my whole life.
I've never seen him in concert. Have you?
I've never seen him, and I feel like I've missed out on like 25 plus opportunities to see him. And I feel like this is the summer. I'm going to make a point to see Kansas.
Well, I also feel like there are certain songs in my life that I need to see performed live in person just once. Like Dust in the Wind is just a beautiful song. I would love to see that performed live. But they're good. And I've watched some of their YouTube videos live, recent shows over the last couple of weeks. They still sound great too. You know, that's what I like about some of these older bands that have been playing together for a long time. Even in their advanced years, they're still able to go out and perform and play and sound like their records, which is what I appreciate.
I felt when I saw Doobie Brothers, they busted out some new songs. They sounded almost like heavy metal.
Oh, yeah, with the Doobs? Oh, I was going to ask you, did you watch the first 3 episodes of
Yes.
Andor?
Yes.
What'd you think?
I really like where they're going with that story. And I think there's 0 Darth Vader or Emperor in the show.
What?
Yeah, they just talk about them. They're just characters that are talked about in the background. You don't get to see them.
Are you serious? We're not going to be able to see Vader at least once? That's misleading because that's not what the promo showed.
Well, I hope that's not true. I hope it's true that they show up because, I mean, those are the characters I've been wanting to see on the screen.
Well, I also read that what's her name? Whoever that Imperial officer is, the chick, she gets force choked by Vader.
Okay. So I read something wrong.
But I like the first 3 episodes were good. We get another 3-pack drop tonight.
Yeah, another 3-pack tonight, and then it wraps up next week.
So 9 total episodes?
Yeah.
Now, do we get 3 tonight or 2?
3.
Oh, good.
They're doing the trilogy of episodes to represent like one story, and then they go forward in time. So the 3 episodes tonight will be in a different era.
Yeah, the only thing that lost me, but I thought the wedding was a bit weird. But outside of that, yeah, it was good. Really good. And I like Andor. He's a cool dude, and that TIE fighter's awesome. I'd love to fly one of those bad boys.
God, we could get to work so much quicker if we had TIE fighters.
I know.
We wouldn't have to take the freeway.
I used to dream about that kind of stuff when I was a little Chad. You know, like having a lightsaber, or what it would be like to cruise around in a speeder at a high rate of speed and get to where you need to go. Think about how much time we waste in traffic.
Or if we had robots doing the road work instead of humans, it could be done while we're sleeping.
That's true. Yeah, they got a lot of robots at work there. But that's a great show. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the next 3 drop tonight. That's going to be good. That gives me something to watch. And I'll crush all 3. I can't Once I start, I can't stop. And the way they end each episode, they force you to go right into the next one, too. Do you have ads on your Disney Plus?
No. I got onto that Disney Plus Ground Zero. I signed up when it started.
Well, the problem is I'm accessing Disney Plus courtesy of a friend. And I guess their plan it's got the commercials. So I can't complain because I'm not paying for it, but it's annoying. It's like, come on, man. Can you will you at least get the premium so I don't have to watch commercials? But I'll let you know when I'm done watching Andor.
Well, if the commercials bother you, just mute the TV and focus on puppy shots.
Oh, I felt bad for puppy shots last night. He had to go to the vet.
Oh.
And he got a couple of shots. I don't know how Dino handles it, but like that the rest of the night, and he was tired and not feeling well. But once he gets a full night's rest, like this morning, he was his normal self again. But I felt really bad for him last night.
Is the health okay? The last time you talked about him, he was underneath some blackberry bushes.
Yeah, no, his health is good. And he checked out. Like, his weight's good, his health is good, and they said he's a happy puppy. So that made me feel good.
When does he turn 10? That's got to be coming soon.
I think it's about 2.5 years away.
Oh, okay.
So still got some time. But, man, it goes by fast. And it's sad. Like, how old's Dino now?
8 or 9.
You don't know exactly because you got him as a rescue, right?
Yeah, he was found homeless. So we just guess.
Did you find him or did somebody else find him?
Someone else found him. He followed, a lady was walking her dog, and Dino just followed them home and refused to leave their porch. And then he got turned into the shelter, and we adopted him.
That's great. Yeah, that's cool that you do that. There's so many good animals out there that need to be adopted. They're at the shelter.
Yeah, and these wild animals are getting spring fever, and so these shelters are going to be packed in the next month or two.
Yeah, it's terrible. But yeah, puppy shots, he didn't feel well last night. So I comforted him and took care of him. And then this morning he was back to his normal, barkety, rowdy self. Like, I don't know if Dino's the same way, but Shots is his most happy when he first gets up in the morning. He's got energy. He wants to go outside and chase rabbits, the whole shebang.
Yeah, Dino, he's an older dog. I have to force him to get up out of bed.
He just wants to lie around all day.
Yeah. He could sleep 14 hours straight if given the opportunity.
Dude, I wish I could sleep like Shots. Upside down, on top of the couch, anywhere, on the floor. He just goes from different spot to different spot and plops down and goes into a little nap. A series of a bunch of naps throughout the course of the day. Must be nice.
Does he have a way to get on the bed, or does he need steps?
Well, I got this new mattress that's a little bit higher. He can jump and make it, but he doesn't want to, so I have to help him. So I'm going to buy a little step stool for him because it's pretty annoying at night because he likes to get off the bed and he'll lie sometimes underneath my bed. But then he wants to get back on and he whines at me. It's like, dude, jump up, but he won't do it. So I'm just going to get that little stair step at the end of the bed so he doesn't need my help.
Yeah, we have different kinds of steps at home for our smaller dog, for the getting on the bed, getting on the couch.
How many dogs sleep with you at night?
2 dogs and
a cat?
3 or 4 cats with a couple just hanging out nearby.
No, that's Shots. He's always sleeping with me. Likes to snuggle with me, get under the covers. He's all over the place. All right, big thanks to all of our guests today. Colin Amos for coming in studio from Goldberg Jones, Divorce for Men, 1-800-DIVORCE. Sarah Barham from Clackamas and soon to be an Oregon Duck. Talking basketball with her. She was terrific. Big thanks to her mom, Judy, and to Sarah for coming in studio. And for Casey Bay for joining me from Shake Shack as he gets ready for the Beefwater one-man march for autism tomorrow morning. I'm going to head down and welcome him into Moda Center when he gets down there at the Rose Quarter, which is cool.